Hello friends, welcome to this video lesson. Very often you'll be dealing with clients who are having addictions or habits which are adversely affecting their day-to-day lives. Can Bach Flower Therapy help in such cases? We shall take a very brief look at this aspect in this video lesson. You will be happy to note that when you start practicing as a Bach Flower therapist, you will be able to use all the tools that you have in your counselor's toolkit. The beauty of this therapy is that it blends with every system of healing. All you have to do is learn the art of blending. It will help you when you hit a roadblock. Also, you'll need to adapt Bach Flower Therapy, and for that you'll need to change your perspective. And this will become an essential adjunct to your day-to-day practice. Bach Flower Therapy is very helpful in navigating through the common roadblocks that you face as a counselor. These roadblocks could be in the form of some cognitive distortions, like people filtering out the positives, only looking at the negatives, or emotional reasoning, fortune telling, and so many other things. We shall look at those as we progress through the course. Also, you will hit a roadblock whenever somebody has got a stimulus control or lack of willpower. Stimulus control or willpower comes into play when one cannot resist every time. And there could be some environmental effects also. If a person wants to give up alcohol, for example, and if the partner is not supportive, or if the home is having alcohol stored for other members of the family. All these things you will encounter when you're dealing with such cases. And Bach Flower Therapy could well provide a holistic approach for the whole family. So as we progress, you'll be able to understand more of this approach. One place where you can start when dealing with habits and addictions is to understand that that habit or addiction actually provides a tremendous amount of inherent reward. Addictions can be binging, drinking alcohol, video gaming, addiction to social media, sex, and so many other things. Well, you must realize that addiction provides immediate gratification. It's instant pleasure. The second thing is it satiates your temptation. A person does not have to fight, it doesn't have to show willpower or any other environmental control. You just simply go and eat or drink or indulge in any other activity to which a person is addicted, and it will satiate that temptation. This is something that really is a big advantage of addiction. Another thing is that with addiction, a person doesn't require approval or sanction of acceptance from other people. They are no longer reliant on other people for socializing and for self-esteem. So when you are dealing with such cases, you will be really feeling yourself very lucky because Bach Flower remedies will allow you to select remedies that suit a person for his or her personal requirement for each of these advantages, which are preventing him or her from overcoming a habit or addiction. In the last slide, we talked about the advantages of addiction and habits. We must also realize that in order to change, that person is facing an uphill task. We must be sympathetic to the fact that change brings in its wake many disadvantages. First of all, it is not fun. On the contrary, it takes a lot of hard work. And next, the person faces a loss of a supporting relationship. That relationship is with the addictive substance. As a matter of fact, that state of addiction is providing a certain kind of a false security, safety, comfort, and self-acceptance. All these things can be beautifully addressed with Bach Flower remedies. Very often, addictions are actually fueled by the core values of that person, what that person stands for. Sounds strange? Well, actually, Addictions can often be an expression of non-conformity. As a matter of fact, most teenagers begin to smoke, not by hiding behind a bush, but they actually desire to be noticed by others, because that is their expression of rebellion. And that is what makes that kind of an addictive behavior so attractive. It can also be an expression of self-love. Many people who go into binging, eating, or any other such activity, they feel that they are actually loving themselves more. While that person is indulging in that act, it is the greatest act of self-love, self-pampering, and so on. Some people can also hide behind a justification. They actually say that they are rewarding themselves for their performance or of achievement. Any achievement must be rewarded, and this is a kind of a self-award which they have given to themselves. We could summarize the last few slides with these boxes. You've already seen these on the slides that we have gone through. And you'll be very happy to note that each of these boxes actually point to some remedies. Our job as a therapist is to assist the client in arriving at the most suitable remedy. And let me assure you, by the end of this course, you will be able to identify these yourselves. So the question that is most likely to arise in your mind is that does every case that you deal as a Bach Flower therapist end like a good storybook ending, which normally ends as "and they lived happily ever after"? Well, as a matter of fact, that may not be 100% true. All our stories don't end like that. As a matter of fact, every case that you handle is a storybook that you and your client are writing together. So you have to determine quite early when you set the plot as to what are the objectives that you have in sight. And mind you, that end point is ever evolving. As the relationship deepens between you and your client, more details are going to surface. It would be like peeling an onion. So the end point is ever evolving. And another point you must note is that a good story usually ends with a climax. And a climax is great only when the unexpected happens. So while you could be starting off with very modest objectives, such as de-addiction, you could actually be transforming that person and also yourself. The only areas that you have to keep clear are that you have not to be judgmental on your part. And you should not encourage that person or the client who is coming to you to play a victim card. Likewise, both of us must understand the limitations. What you must not forget is that the story has a hero, and that hero or heroine is actually your client. Everything must go to benefit that person. You must take that as your compass whenever you are handling any case. Do not forget your hero. For the simple reason that a beneficial outcome must be in terms of the client. It is important that you don't pay too much attention to your theories or your professional ego. Some things may turn out quite contrary to the way you think. So the ideal happily ever after ending of a story will be that your client leads a better, happier, healthier life. That should be our objective as healers. So friends, that brings me to the end of this lesson. Thank you very much for your attention and see you in the next lesson. So until then, bye bye.